Your online store will predict what customers they want before they search products. So here let us see how to build it. Previous video we discussed about how to implement e-commerce online store with Kubernetes services like front-end, back-end, data as well as messaging. Today's video let us see how to integrate e-commerce online store with OpenAI service. Hi, this is Murli Dhulam, founder of ITS Code Private Limited, architect, trainer in the area of DevSecOps Azure, AWS, Kubernetes with AI, ML, IoT integration. Till now, I have trained more than 5,000 plus students and 1,000 plus students working with top MNCs. Also, we have developed FIRA, which helps small and medium scale businesses streamline operations, scale with confidence. Now, let us see how to integrate online store with our OpenAI service. Let us see that. Now let us see how to integrate our OpenAI services with our online store. Right? So now just see this section. Now we need to integrate our OpenAI services with our service. Right? So that what is the advantage here? Okay. So wherever you need, you can include your AI related operations. Just see whenever you're adding some orders. Right? So here adding some orders. Right? So let me go back to products. Just try to add one more order. So here while adding orders, so here I need some AI help. Right? So why it is showing ask AI assistant? Because we already deployed some service here. That's why it is showing AI service. But we need to perform this activity. Just see if you enter some keywords, it will give you the some description. If you enter name and all these things, it will give you the so AI based some suggestions, description suggestions, right? So for that, first we need to integrate our service. Okay. First, we need to integrate our OpenAI service with our Azure OpenAI. So here I'm trying to use Azure OpenAI. Right? So let us try to deploy that. Okay. So just open your service. Here, let us see. Now, second step we are seeing. Okay. So create OpenAI service, Azure OpenAI service. So you can use other AI services also, or Bedrock, other service also, where it takes any service you can use. As of now, I'm using Azure OpenAI service. Create Azure OpenAI service, and within that Cloud Foundry, I'll try to add model. Okay. So here I'll try to add model. What are the things you need? Just go back to this manifesto file so that we can capture whatever requirements you need. You see here, this is the manifesto file. I'm trying to set up this manifesto file within that. So to enable integration, so just use Azure OpenAI. Currently, I'm using Azure OpenAI, and we need to mention our LLM model deployment name, and also let us capture these values here. So we need LLM model deployment name. Okay, we need this information, and also we need our OpenAI endpoint. So we need endpoint as well. Okay. So you can see OpenAI endpoint, and also one more point. So we need OpenAI key as well. These three things we need. Okay. So let us capture these values. For that, first we need to set up our OpenAI service, Azure OpenAI service. We need to set up. See, so just go back to this picture also and see. Till now we completed the entire setup. Now we are focusing this section, final section called OpenAI. So I'm trying to set up this OpenAI section, right? So let us see that. Okay. So for that, just go back to the service. So just enable one more scenario. Before going to the OpenAI, let us see one more section also. Just go to Insights. It means Azure monitoring. You can also integrate with your dashboard also, Prometheus and Grafana also, but here I disabled that. You see, so just go back to your section. So monitor, within that you can see how many nodes currently we are using. We are using 2 nodes, and also we are using 32 our pods. 32 pods currently we have onboarded 32 pods. Right? So in this way you can see this metrics also. Suppose if you are trying to monitor your environment, you can use Azure Monitor as well, container insights. Okay, and then also you can enable Grafana and Prometheus also. Okay, so these are all events. You can see that warning as well as normal events. Okay, now let us go back to our section. So just go to your Azure OpenAI. So here I'm trying to open Azure AI Foundry. So these are one of the service, AI service. I'm trying to use this service. Okay, just go back to services, all services. So previously I used containerization service. You see here, okay, container service we used. So this is the one Kubernetes service I used. Now let us say AI and machine learning. Under that, I'm trying to use Azure OpenAI. Okay, so let me show you that Azure OpenAI. This is the service I'm trying to use. So just go to this service, right? So here you can see Azure Foundry. Let us create this service. So we did some other video related to AI hubs and all these things. Suppose if you are trying to manage a group of projects, you can use Azure AI Hub, right? So let us create Foundry. Okay. So I'm trying to use different resource group. Here we use a separate resource group, right? So for Kubernetes cluster, I use separate resource group for that. But my OpenAI, I'm using other resource group. Let us say Kubernetes. Okay, Kubernetes. And here I'm creating one more resource group for, right? So I'm using OpenAI, Azure OpenAI or Foundry, you can see. Foundry. Okay. So let us create it. Okay. So let's see. So I'm trying to set up this scenario. So just create new resource group. I'm using new resource group. Okay. So let us use any resource group. Online store AI RG. Online store ARG. This is the resource group I'm using. Okay. So resource group I'm creating. Online store RG. Currently, we can see only one subscription. We don't have multiple subscriptions. That's why I'm using same subscription here. Resource group. Okay. And just select this resource group. And also just mention your AI Foundry name as well. Online store Foundry. Online store AI Foundry. Okay. Now, so just see this is the project and content review policy. And also currently I'm using default values, public network. Okay. System assign identity, access management, and also default values I'm using encryption. Just create it. It may take some time. Now you can see we onboarded our Azure AI Foundry service for our online store. Online store AI Foundry. Okay. So just go to your Azure AI Foundry portal. So here you can control these settings. Let's see. Suppose if you are trying to set up some keys, endpoint, encryption, right? Network identity, all these areas you can enable it. Okay. Now you can see, just try to copy your project keys as well. Just copy these keys somewhere. So these are all temporary keys currently I'm creating. So key, just now here we observed it, key name, this is the key. Later, I'll try to remove this key. Okay. And after that, what is the endpoint name? Okay. If you need endpoint, you can use this endpoint here. Okay. This is the endpoint. And also we need deployment name also. So let us deploy one model also. So we are trying to deploy 4.01. Let us deploy it. ChatGPT GPT 4.0 mini. Okay. So model catalog you can see. Okay. So these are all different models you can see. So as of now, I need chart completion GPT 4.1 because our requirement is here. I need to enable this here, right? So whenever users are trying to, or admins, they are trying to add, we need some suggestions. For that, I'm trying to implementing this. Right? So similar way, you can identify a requirement, you can start adding other areas also. Okay. So, but here we need developers also, help also. So in this use case, so we are using our code which is already developed by our developers. Okay. And also just use your deployment name. So just see this. Just select. So this one, 4.1 mini. So use this model. Okay. Just see, these are all capabilities. You can see that. Okay. These are all capabilities. And use this model. So what is the deployment name? Just use this main deployment name. So you can see. Now just try to replace these values in your or manifesto file also. Okay. So here you can replace these values in the manifesto file. Again, you can deploy this manifesto file. Okay. So what is the deployment name? This is the one. Okay. And also other values like, so just now here we captured, right? So just go to your documentation. So we need endpoint. So this is the endpoint. Make sure you need to have proper permissions. Okay. Currently, I'm an owner for this account. Endpoint. Okay. And also you need to add key also. So we captured key as well. So you can see that. Okay. This is the key you can see. Just go back to this manifesto file. Okay. Open API key. You can use this. Okay. So in this way, you can add this. So once it is done, let us try to redeploy this manifesto file one more time. So let us do that. So this one, kubectl apply. So here, instead of using our own LLM models, we are using our Azure-based LLM models. So we are using from model catalog. Right? This is a global standard. You can see this model version, all these things also. You can see that tokens, 100 tokens per minute. They are providing 100 tokens per minute, and resource region, you can also see that. Okay. And also other deployment types also there. Right? As of now, I'm selecting global standard. So let us select deploy. Okay. Now just go back to the section. Okay. kubectl apply -f. Okay. So what is the manifesto file? Azure OpenAI deployment. Okay. Enter. Okay. Service configured. Deployment service configured. Okay. So in this way, you can see that. So once it is done, you can start doing your changes here, right? So here you can start utilizing your AI features. Okay. So in this way, you can integrate these scenarios also. Just enter product name. Okay. Car, baby car, baby bike, and 800 bike, and it may take some time. Just now we deployed it. It may take some time. So first you need to see kubectl gets deployed. Baby kid, baby bike, bike. Till now we discussed about front-end, back-end, data and messaging with our Kubernetes clusters with microservices. These are all things we onboarded. And also we enabled our Foundry service also, OpenAI Azure Foundry service also. So wherever you need, you can start integrating this AI service. As of now, we used product description recommendation only we used, right? So other areas also we can enable with the help of our developers help us. So here we uploaded detailed documentation. And so I'm trying to upload so this manifestos in the GitHub also. Please try to refer this documentation as well. Till now, we discussed about how to implement e-commerce store with Kubernetes cluster. And after that, we discussed about how to integrate e-commerce store with OpenAI services we discussed in the part 2. Next section, let us see how to integrate SRE agent with our e-commerce store. Why we need to integrate SRE agent. So we need monitor as well as feedback mechanism. If anything goes wrong, we need to identify the issue and also we need to resolve that issue also. So we need automated way. So for that, we'll try to use our Azure SRE agent. So next video, let us see that.